I'm currently down an AirPod.
You're down an AirPod?
The one went somewhere. I have a culprit in mind of where it may have went. Glances over shoulder.
Do you think he ate it?
The thing I love about Nugget will not actively seek out something to eat that he should not. However, he loves paper. If I leave something out that's paper, he'll say, "Oh my god, thanks for leaving this out for me, Mom."
Oh, like he thinks it's an offering.
Right.
His version of a sweet treat is the paper that you accidentally leave out on the counter. That's how, when I had cats, they both loved phone cords. We'd go through a phone cord a week, sometimes more.
Dang.
Because they would chew on the phone cords. Phone cords and flip-flops.
Which in a Floridian household, those are sacred.
Well, yes. That and apparently my fish, Bert, they liked him as well. Have I told you this story?
No.
So, this was so traumatizing. So I got a betta fish for my first communion. He was my first communion present. I named him Bert because Bert's betta fish. And I liked Mary Poppins. So we had him for like a year, which is kind of a long time to keep a betta fish alive.
For a betta fish, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's just kind of long for a first or second grader to keep a fish alive. So we went to Disney for the weekend. We get home.
Oh no.
And I walk over to the fish tank to check on Bert. I found him at the bottom of his little fishbowl with a hole punctured through the center. They didn't eat him.
They just poked him.
Hole in the center. Like, you know, in those like in the movies when they have like the little like radar gun things that like shoot through you and they like whatever. That's what he looks like. Just hole in the center. I was devastated. Rightfully so.
That's actually so insane. I had no idea about that one.
Yeah. It ripped Bert. And he was my first communion gift. I was like, wait, I don't want like money or like normal things that kids get for first communion. I wanted a fish.
I kind of love that though.
I thought that it would be a good idea to have a fish and cats in the same household, which is an oversight on my part.
Like a canonically evil duo.
Good use of the word canonically. Come on, vocab word.
We're sharing with the class.
It's time for this episode 3.
Yeah.
We're on a roll.
It's been a minute since the last episode because there was a little bit of an incident.
Yeah, I was going to say, please share with the class what happened.
I went to go see Joe Carey at the Greek Theater here in LA. And if you're familiar with this venue, this story may not be that surprising. It's up this like big hill. Like people hike to get to the Greek. And so we took an Uber up to the theater, went to the show. Great show, by the way. Love you, Joe. And then we were like, oh, let's walk down the hill to get back to the main road to order an Uber. And as we're going back down the hill, it is, first of all, extremely dark. Like, I've walked this road multiple times before, and I've had to, like, turn on my phone flashlight to, like, see where I'm walking. And the sidewalk is cracked because, again, it's, like, on the side of a hill. And so, like, the sidewalk is not great. Just not a great path to be walking in the dark, not paying full attention, which is exactly what I was doing. And I took a nice little step off the side of the sidewalk, and the sidewalk was like here, and then the actual ground was like here, and my foot just went. Did not end well for me. So if you saw me eat absolute shit at Joe in LA night 1, no you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I was fully on the ground, and I was like struggling to get up because I could not put any weight on any part of my foot. Like even like my toes, like if I touched them to the ground, I was like, no. I had to call my poor mom. God bless my mom, because I don't understand insurance. I was like, I need to go to an ER. I cannot. However, I didn't know where I could go. So I had to call my mom in the middle of the night. We figure out where we can go, order an Uber. They offered. They were like, we can call an ambulance. And I said, I'm not paying for an ambulance. That sobered me up real quick. I was fully sober the entire time, but that sobered me up real quick.
It sobered you up to reality.
I said, I'm not paying for an ambulance. And so we ordered an Uber. Our Uber's name was Marco. So the entire time while we were waiting, I was like, Marco. And then I had to knee scoot to the curb, and a random French woman appeared. I was like going to like stand up onto my knees at least so I could like knee scoot to the curbs. That way I could get into the car. It was a whole thing. This woman appears. She grabs my hand and she goes, un, deux, trois, pulls me up onto my knees.
And she disappeared out of the abyss?
Yeah. So shout out to her. Keep in mind, I'm already like functioning on adrenaline. I'm like in shock, and then this woman appears and she just counts me down in French, and I like knee scoot over, and then Marco scoops me up and takes us to the ER. Shout out to my divas over at Hollywood Presbyterian. I found out that I had a dislocated ankle, and we were there until like 6 a.m. getting it put back into place. And then as I was getting wheeled out of the ER, because I had seen pretty much everyone at the ER at that point, like every staff who was there, like I had interacted with them. So as I was leaving, I felt like a little princess, like waving. I was like, bye everyone, bye. But yeah, I'm currently rocking my little knee scooter.
But I think it's worth mentioning, you did rally for Halloween, and I think that is the feat of the century.
I did manage to. We went to my friend's coworker's Halloween party, and at her apartment, because it's an older building, so it was a couple of stairs getting in and then a flight of stairs. So I fully had to like hop on the stairs and then like butt scoot up the stairs to get inside. It was a whole thing, but I managed to get there. And then leaving was a lot faster because gravity, naturally.
Just you and Caroline define gravity.
And I think that is a perfect segue into our topic of the week.
I did that on purpose. I was really proud of that one. I did that on the fly.
You did. I'm proud.
I hope the viewers know that was an unplanned, seamless transition into the topic of today's episode, which is Broadway.
Yay!
Yay!
As mentioned in previous episodes, which if you didn't watch our first episode, diving into our lore,
You're
you
lame.
can go.
Well, I was just going to say they could go back and watch it, but that works too.
That works too. Musical theater and Broadway is a big part of our lore and how we became friends. So I'm personally very excited for this. And there's a little musical coming out with the musical movie this month.
It's kind of niche.
You
I
might have
don't know
heard
if
of it,
I
yeah.
don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Yeah, you might have heard of it. It's called Wicked, featuring our close personal friends, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
So we thought that since it's Wicked Month, what better time to dive in to Broadway, our favorites, and just all things musical theater. So I think to start, we're going to walk through each of our top 5 musicals. As certified musical theater lovers and fans and theater kids at heart, we thought that this was the perfect way to begin this episode. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I can go first. I would say that my number 1 show would have to be Hadestown. I love Hadestown. I got into it when I was in like high school. There's this effect that I have with certain music where if I listen to it, like I am locked in on whatever I'm doing. It happened to me with the Hadestown soundtrack. It's also happened to me with The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, where I just listen to it all the way through and I like transport out of my mind.
I love that.
I love it. Like when I was in high school, I was the assistant for our theater teacher during our first period class. It was a great experience, but it being in the morning was not a great experience. And so I was helping her organize like the storage closet and like going through a ton of stuff. And I would just like put my headphones in and listen to Hadestown and like sort through stuff. And I was like locked in. And so that's like my memory with like listening to it and like really learning to love the show. And then I saw it live last year. I forget when. I've seen it live, which is a whole other out-of-body experience. I love the live show.
Very true.
So that would have to be my number 1. My next, I would have to say for the music specifically, I love the music of the show. I would argue no skips. and that would be Waitress. I saw Waitress live at the Starlight Theater in Kansas City with my dad. Also a great show. My third would have to be Legally Blonde. This one, I'm feeling like this is a common theme, but just like listening to certain shows at different points in my life. I would listen to Legally Blonde, the musical, often when I was in college because it was the perfect length for my drive to and from Dallas to go to the airport.
Yes, I would do the same thing driving to Austin to go to the airport because it's the perfect hour and a half. It's a tight hour and a half and the perfect length for that drive to either city.
And it kept me engaged and awake during my drive. And so, again, I just have positive associations with Legally Blonde. My next show, I've got to say, it's not as popular, and I think it needs to be more popular. And that would be Sideshow. I really love Sideshow. We did it when I was in high school. That was my first exposure to it, and I really do love that show. I think it has really great music, and it's also just a very interesting story. Very unique story. The production behind it can always be very cool and elevated, especially with like costuming and stuff. I just really love Sideshow.
And I love that you love it because I feel like that's, like you said, like a show that no one really talks about. And I think is a really, really good show. We need a revival, I think. I think that's what I'm hearing.
I think we need a Sideshow revival so the world can understand how good of a show it is.
Everyone who knows the show loves the show. My final show, again, I think just because a lot of these are like my favorites for like a specific reason. The Book of Mormon. So, I have an interesting relationship with Mormonism.
I am so excited for you to share this more.
So, I am from Blue Springs, Missouri. Born and raised, first 18 years of my life. Kansas City area doesn't have a lot of claims to fame, but one of them is that according to the Mormons, the Garden of Eden is located in Independence, Missouri. Independence is like the next city over because it goes like Kansas City, next is Independence, and then Blue Springs. So it's like sandwiched between. I spent a lot of time in Independence. My grandpa was from there. I did summer school there. I remember whenever I would leave summer school, there was this Mormon temple, and it's this giant spiral building. I'll have to insert a picture of it. It's so tall, which in the flatlands of the Midwest just makes it stick out even more. And I would call it the swirly building because it's just
Swirly.
It's swirly. And in my like elementary school brain, I was like, yeah, that's the swirly building. Fast forward to when I was like a freshman in college, I think. I'd come home for a holiday and I was going through one of my like scrapbook things that my parents had made of, you know, just like things from my life. And I'm flipping through and I'm like, oh, cute. And I come across this certificate signed off by these elders that apparently when I was like, I think I was like 2 years old or something, I was like blessed by the Mormons. Keep in mind, my parents, not only are they not Mormon, they're not religious at all. We did not grow up going to church. We did not grow up doing anything religious. I was very confused when I found this, and I like went to my parents and I was like, what's this? And they were like, oh yeah, like our friends had said that it would be a good idea to get you blessed when you were like, I was like 1 or 2 years old. I guess it's not as committing as like baptism. And so they were like, yeah, they said we should get you blessed. And I was like, you got me blessed by the Mormons? Like they had no clue.
Did they think that like the Mormon church and the Church of Latter-day Saints were like two different churches?
I think they just thought they were like, well, it's a church. Like,
that's so funny.
I grew up around so many Mormons. I almost got talked into going to BYU because I was talking to my one friend in high school. She's Mormon. She went to BYUI, and she was we were talking about like where we were gonna go to college, you know, typical high school conversation. And she was like, oh yeah, I really want to go to BYU or BYUI, like one of the BYUs. And I was like, oh cool. And I was like kind of undecided at that point. She was like, yeah, plus for Mormons it's like really cheap. I guess it's like $3,000 a year for Mormons to go to BYU. Yeah, didn't know that.
What?
And I said, interesting, tell me more. And then I went home and I did a quick Google search and I said, so actually I will not be going to BYU.
Could you imagine how different your life would be if you had gone to BYU?
I cannot fathom. Like, I look back on it now that I like actually know what Mormonism like really is. I'm like, oh, that's not. But yeah, in the Book of Mormon, there's a line where they say, "And I believe the Garden of Eden is in Jackson County, Missouri. And I'm from Jackson County, Missouri." Very funny to have my little hometown mentioned in a Broadway musical.
Between Jackson County, Missouri, and them wanting to go to Orlando, Florida, we've got all the bases covered.
Orlando.
That's one of my favorite vocal stems. I love it. I would listen to that song in my AirPods every time I flew home from college on the little tram, like going to the airport. I'm a romanticizer.
Naturally. That's what the airport is for.
That is. As an eldest daughter, the airport's my domain. I run that thing.
I'm unstoppable. Put me on a plane with a glass of wine and sad music in my headphones and I'm unstoppable.
And additionally, sometimes a notebook or a journal or my notes app, whatever is readily available to me to write.
I write my best when I am either drinking wine and or involved in some sort of aviation or public transport, whether it's a train or a plane. What about you? What are some musicals that you are loving?
I had to pick one to put at the top. It would be In the Heights. I love this show. I love In the Heights. I think, obviously, I had a huge Hamilton phase. Actually, I never really left my Hamilton phase when I really think about it. Like, it just kind of extended. Like, from 7th grade onward, I have just been obsessed with Hamilton.
I still get Spotify playlist suggestions with Hamilton.
Yes, I truly never left. And I watch, like, I listen to it all the time. Like, it's in my rotation and I love it. And this might be a hot take, so don't cancel me here. I think that In the Heights is Lynn's best work. Two of the best shows to ever be on Broadway, in my opinion, for very different reasons. But I think In the Heights is such a beautiful display of, like, real people and stories. And the fact that Lynn wrote it about his experiences living in Washington Heights, meeting his wife, and, like, his younger years is really sweet and nostalgic. And I just love all of the different relationships in the show. And I feel like every character has such a beautiful moment to shine in that show. Like, Paciencia y Fe will bring me to tears every single time. It Won't Be Long Now. Like, there's so many beautiful songs in that show that just, like, capture such raw emotion. Also, the movie, also directed by John Chu, which I feel like people don't know.
John Chu is truly a mastermind.
I think the In the Heights movie came out around COVID time, so I just don't think it was really on people's radars as much, or it was like 2021, like, kind of great plane movie, because most planes have it on their little, like, movie menu. I love In the Heights. I think it's such a beautiful show and has some of my favorite music. I find myself with it on shuffle often. And also, one of the best intro songs of any musical. I think that In the Heights, like the intro song, like the title track of the musical In the Heights, and Welcome to the Rock from Come From Away are two of the best intro songs of any musical ever.
I posted a TikTok. This was my first international flight ever. I was on an American Airlines plane and I'm like going through the music, like trying to, find little things to watch on my screen. Why is Come From Away listed? Why is Come From Away an option to listen to on my American Airlines flight?
Why is Come From Away being suggested to watch on my 9-hour flight?
My next show, which has a very personal place in my heart, is Into the Woods. There's just so many things I love about Into the Woods.
For context, I danced competitively for most of my life. I danced from like 2 to 18, but I started competing in like 6th grade. And my first competitive solo was to Little Red Riding Hood section of the intro of Into the Woods. Because for people that aren't familiar with Into the Woods, the intro is like 13 minutes long.
Or it's long. I can't remember exactly how long it is, but it's very long. And so I did a solo, but I did my solo to her section of the intro Into the Woods and had the red cape and a fake bread basket and all. And I loved it. And it was so fun. I was the musical theater girl of my studio. I was the musical theater girl for hire, the theater kid for hire. I But I love Into the Woods because that was my first solo, and it's just really special.
My next pick on the same theme as like being connected to dance, I love a chorus line. As a lifelong dancer, I think all dancers have a special connection to that show. I Hope I Get It is another fantastic opening to a show. It's world famous for a reason. I also love Cassie as a character. I love her storyline in the show, and I think A Chorus Line is a great show that sometimes gets slept on when talking about like, the greats of musical theater. I don't know. I just feel like dancers have a different appreciation for it and a different love for it. And I think it needs a revival also.
My next pick is also Hadestown. And Hadestown's up there among my top shows. I saw it on the West End in London last summer. Like you, I've been a fan of the show since like high school. Like I've been listening to the soundtrack since it came out and things like that. Watched slime tutorials on YouTube and all the things. But seeing it in person, me and my best friend Savannah were like holding hands, crying the majority of the show. I think that Hadestown is such a beautiful show. Any Way the Wind Blows is one of my favorite musical theater songs of all time. The way the music's harmonized, the voices they blend so beautifully. I love them. And then my last pick on my top 5 is Hair. I love Hair. Rest in peace, Gavin Creel. Anytime I see clips of especially like college theater departments, I cry. The ending of that show, I'm going to shout out specifically Kent State Musical Theater in Flesh Failures, Let the Sunshine In, because Kent State is where the infamous Kent State massacre happened. Because in that scene, like there's like snow coming down, whatever. They had a sheet and they projected the famous photo from that incident onto this sheet, and that's how that song ends. Like the whole cast leaves the stage, and that's how it ends. Is like the main character like laying down and the snow falling and like that photo being displayed on the sheet. Oh my gosh, I've seen that clip so many times. So many college theater departments have done such a great job with that show. Texas State Musical Theater, from the original to the recent revival to like other theater departments putting it on now. Every revival has had every like iteration that I see has had its own, like brings its own life to it, and they add their own flair and flavor to it. And I think that's the mark of a great show. The little nuances and details of it can get adapted to whatever, program or department is putting it on. The new musical's coming to Broadway this season. Quite a few, Chess being one of them. It's already out.
I need to dive into the Chess verse.
Okay, I was exposed to Chess through none other than competitive dance, because Molly Long, so for any of my fans of competition dance out there, so Project 21 is a studio, like a really popular studio in the dance competition verse. Project 21, their director Molly Long, she choreographed LaFay's current tour. Also, fun fact, she's incredible. I love her. She's choreographed LaFay's current tour. Also, fun fact.
Wait, Leve?
Yeah. I say LaFay. Is that how you say it?
No, it's Leve. She's Icelandic.
Oh, I've never actually said her name out loud. But yeah, so she choreographed Leve's current tour. But she did a dance in like one of the early seasons of the studio, like when she like first created Project 21, to One Night in Bangkok from Chess. And I fixated on that dance for a very long time because it was very good.
And that led me down the Chess deep dive.
This next one has received some not-so-rave reviews, which is unfortunate considering the diva who is in it, but I can understand why.
Everything I've seen about this show, like the musical performances are lacking, the storyline's lacking, and that it just isn't good. And of course, we're talking about Queen of Versailles, featuring the one and only Kristen Chenoweth, which this show is really interesting because this is a deep tie to my home. Queen of Versailles, the woman that this show is about, is from Orlando.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like all of this, oh yeah. The musical I think is based off of the documentary called Queen of Versailles. So there's this house in Orlando. Oh, it's in Windermere, to be specific, for my people that know Orlando. Windermere is a suburb. The musical is about Jackie Siegel and her husband and their 90,000 square foot mansion in Windermere, Florida. And there's like a whole documentary about it if you want to do like a deep dive. I think that the story is really interesting, and the fact that the musical's kind of flopped kind of doesn't surprise me.
It surprises me a little bit because, like, the music is by Stephen Schwartz, and then it's got Kristen in it. Like, you would think with the combo that it would be good, so I am a little bit surprised.
All of those things can't make up for a lack of plot in a show. Like, you can have the best of the best in it and the best of the best working on it, but if the plot isn't fully developed or realized, then I think you can't bank on the rest of it to be, like, to salvage it.
No, I think that makes sense. I don't fully know the story. It sounds like you're a little more familiar with that, but...
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I think that the documentary is definitely interesting, and the story is worth going in on a deep dive. Like, it's worth going on a little TikTok doom scroll about it because it's really fascinating. So I was disappointed, especially, which I found this out this week, the fact that Kristen turned down Death Becomes Her.
She would have been so good.
Her in honestly either role, but especially Megan Hilty's role.
She would have killed it.
No, like, it would have been amazing.
And then next, up on the new shows coming this season, Cats the Jellicle Ball, which I'm personally very excited about.
Because I've seen online, like, so many different iterations of Cats.
Like, people doing Cats based in, like, the circuit. Like, I love Cats, but restructured into, like, site-specific. Like, I've seen it done in a few different ways, but I love that we're leading into ballroom culture with this. And from the, like, preview clips I've seen, it hasn't opened yet, I don't think, as of now. But it's coming later this season.
Cat's got a bad reputation in 2020 with the movie, so hopefully this can help redeem it a little bit.
But it's also
No.
iconic. And I think it's iconic because people don't like it.
I did see Rocky Horror is coming.
I didn't realize Rocky Horror is coming. I am actually looking it up right now. Apparently it's going to be at Studio 54, which I think is a really fun venue. I love Rocky Horror. I'm a Rocky Horror fan. I just went this past Halloween over at Beaches Tropicana. They did a screening of Rocky Horror. Took my friend for the first time, and she got to break her Rocky Horror virginity. For those of you who are not aware, at Rocky Horror screenings, it's kind of a tradition where if you've never been to a Rocky Horror screening, you get marked with a V because you're a virgin. And at this screening they did, they inflated balloons, red balloons, and you had to break the red balloon by, like, sitting on it.
That's so funny. I didn't know that.
And then you get marked with the V. And so it's a whole thing. I think Rocky Horror is fun. I think, of course, it has the cult following to support it on Broadway. And so I can see it doing really well. That's what I'm excited about.
And then these two shows don't have venues yet, but...
And a show that had a lot of TikTok traction, if you will, the original Dolly Parton musical about her life.
I'm very curious to see how this goes.
I am as well. The search for Dolly went viral online. There's like 3 Dollys. It's Katy Rose Clark, Carrie St. Louis, and Quinn Titcomb. From what I understand, Katy Rose Clark has been in the workshops for this role since it began. There was a ton of controversy online about the creative team not picking a new upcoming star and just sticking with someone. It's very similar controversy to the recent Heathers off-Broadway, or the recent off-Broadway production of Heathers, because they put out like a search for the Heathers. They held like a really big open call audition for the Heathers, and they just picked 3 Broadway vets, and people were really upset. Like, if you're going to do this whole search, why would you do that if you were already planning on using Broadway veterans? Which I totally agree. They're trying to do marketing-wise what the Search for Elle Woods was, but if you're not actually going to pick the person or pick the people that make it that far, you're just going to get backlash from fans. Because why
do a whole TikTok search. Like, I remember there were a few contestants that, like, people were really upset for the Dolly, at least the Dolly one. But I think that's all super valid.
Yeah, and especially if you're running it as the search for Dolly, it's just a little misleading.
Everyone likes to see fresh talent. Like, obviously we like seeing the greats do their thing, but I feel like in cases like this, we want to see a fresh face. Rachel Zegler, for example, when they cast her in West Side Story, people were like, who is that?
And now people love Rachel.
I think a lot of it's also, not all of it, there's a lot of like stunt marketing happening with like stunt casting and things like that, with, you know, casting different people. And obviously these people that they're casting are talented, I'm not saying that, but having a fresh face would have done the Dolly musical good. But I'm so excited to see it come to Broadway, and I'm excited to hear the soundtrack and all the things.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it performs, especially with all of the discourse that's already surrounding it.
And now it's time. The reason why we even decided to do this episode in the first place, looking at your calendars, it is in fact November when this episode's coming out, and that means it's Wicked for a Good month. Yay! This is so huge. Obviously, part of our origin story.
It's so crazy because the Wicked movie musical has been in the works for so long. I saw someone resurfaced the tweet earlier today that I saw. I remember Universal tweeting about the Wicked movie back in 2016, that it was coming, that it was in the works, and the original release date was supposed to be like December 2019. As we know, it is a lot later than December 2019 now. It is about 6 years later for the second half of this movie, and so it's so crazy to see just how long this has been in the works, because I feel like if you're gonna do a movie musical of this scale of release, there have been plenty of movie musicals before, but I think something of this big of a production and this big of a marketing hype, Wicked is the show to do it with, just because it is such a classic Broadway production.
Yeah, it's a favorite show of many for obvious reasons. It's a beautiful show. We've both seen it and loved it. Do you remember who your Elphaba and Glinda were?
So we were at the same show.
Oh wait, we were. That's right. Do you remember who they were? Did we have Jenna Claire Mason as Glinda?
I just realized that we barely missed Jessica Vosk.
I know, because she left in like spring of 2019.
And Kevin Chamberlain as the wizard.
I wish that I had my playbills with me. They're at my home. My home.
I want to say we had Hannah Cornell.
Yes, Hannah Cornell, and it looks like Jenna Claire Mason, which is iconic. We love Wicked.
2019 was really an iconic year for the Wicked cast. They had Ryan McCartan as Fiero in February.
I wish there was a way you could look up playbill dates, like an archive, but that would be too much for playbill to keep track of.
Ryan McCartan as Fiero in 2019, Kevin Chamberlain as the Wizard, Jessica Vosk as Elphaba. Just such an iconic cast cycling in and out.
Yeah, we went at a really good time for the Wicked verse.
One
So
someday in the Animal City, I love Wicked.
I love Wicked! Shout out Renee Rapp. Obviously, this press run has been nothing short of magical. Ariana's looks, styled by Law Roach, have been some of her best. The butterfly dress from this Wicked concert special.
So good. One of my favorites is the one where she has the pink skirt with this like Emerald City looking corset.
Yes!
That I think has been my favorite one so far.
Also just realized, because one of the other Broadway shows that was like an option for us to go see, so my mom and I picked Wicked and Dear Evan Hansen as our like optional shows, and we saw Frozen as like the one that everyone was going to, which original cast, Casey Levy, icon, legend, star. But I just realized one of the other shows that we had an option to go see, the ones we got to pick from. We got to pick 2 optional shows out of 5. Wicked, Dear Evan Hansen, Mean Girls, Come From Away, and I think it was those 4. We got to pick from those 4. I wish that I could go back and hit junior year me across the face and tell her, go see Mean Girls while Renee Rapp is still in it. I hope she goes back and does it at some point. I really hope.
I do too. I don't see it happening, but I wish. I know Renee won't.
Oh, Renee won't for sure. But the fact that we could have seen, like, I fully had the choice. Well, like, my mom wanted to see Wicked, so, like, I got a pick and my mom got a pick. So she picked Wicked and I picked Dear Evan Hansen.
And if I remember correctly, I wish I had my playbills here so I could reference. Because I want to say, I believe I was right on the cusp of Andrew Barth Feldman.
Because he won the Jimmy, was it 2018 he won the Jimmy? I must have seen Andrew. Because he was in it from January 30th, 2019 to January of 2020.
I think this episode's actually over. I think this episode's done. Thank you guys so much for listening.
But this is the thing. I didn't realize at the time how iconic that was. But I'm still mad at myself for not choosing Mean Girls. Like, I love Andrew very much, obviously. But, like...
Going back to Wicked, have you seen what's been happening in Brazil?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, because it's so bad.
The part that's really frustrating for me is people blaming Ariana for it. I saw one video of somebody recording Ariana at TSA, going in the main TSA line. She, like, got brought to the front for security reasons, obviously, but Ariana going through regular TSA. Someone else said that she was next to him on their Delta flight. Like, she was doing everything that she could to get there.
It's not her fault that flights get canceled, and
especially the volume at which they're getting canceled currently is especially not her fault. So, like, it just makes no sense to blame her for that.
Like, obviously that, and people just being so upset, being like, Wicked means so much to this country, and, which I do understand, but we should not be sending death threats to people for not being able to make a premiere. Too far. Way too far. I did see, however, that, so the two women who play Glinda and Elphaba in the Brazil production of Wicked, I guess they've been in the roles since the show opened in Brazil, like years and years. I cannot remember their names off the top of my head. My apologies. Apparently they didn't get like a picture with the original, or with the cast, with the movie cast, and people were very upset about them not being more included because they have like made Wicked what it is in Brazil.
That's understandable.
Yeah, so I've seen some discourse about that online as well, which I think is interesting. So the Brazil premiere was something.
Them not being more included is very unfortunate, especially I did see a video of, I don't know if it was from the Brazil premiere or not, or which premiere it was from, but it was the actress who did Ariana's French voice, getting to interact with her and getting a video and a picture with her, and a lot of the people in the comments were giving her unnecessary criticism, being like, oh, I can't believe you got to do this when the Brazilian actresses did. And, like, that's not her fault.
But I will say, that's the only real, like, tiffs we've seen this whole press tour. I love the Wicked press tour.
Yeah,
I wish we could get a Wicked press tour every year.
Yeah, I wish they had done more with this second round of it, with the For Good round. I feel like we didn't get as much lead up. Obviously, we're getting a lot of press right now, of course, but I wish we'd gotten more build up like we did with part one.
I agree. I feel like most of the lead up, or most of like the budget for this was very, well, at least now, to me, very obviously put into the concert special. Like, you can tell that they spent every last coin and dollar on that concert special, which, thank goodness.
So well done.
It was so well done. It was so good. And I'm really happy because last year we got a Wicked special on NBC, but it was like a behind the scenes of the movie. And it was more like just Ariana and Cynthia talking about the movie, and like they brought in like the other cast members, and it was like interviews behind the scenes and like bloopers and that kind of stuff, which we love. But to see an evening like this solely dedicated to not just like the cast, but their fans, the highlighting, I love how they highlighted the fans and the importance of like the cultural significance of Wicked throughout the concert special. It was really, really beautiful. And of course, the number with Kristen, Idina, Cynthia, and Ariana singing For Good.
So I thought that was a really special moment. I'm really glad they did that. Plus, it was at the Gershwin, which is just so full circle.
At the Gershwin, and I don't think this is really clocking to a lot of people, the additional verse that was added. I'm not seeing more people talk about that, and I don't really know why.
No, I agree.
People are talking about the performance and, like, obviously the cultural significance of, like, Stephen Schwartz playing the, like, obviously Stephen Schwartz playing the piano at the Gershwin with the four of them is already a significant moment in itself. Kristen and Dana to come out of the wings singing a brand new, never before heard verse of that song, basically paying homage to how Cynthia and Ariana are, like, carrying Wicked into the future and, like, kind of a passing of the torch, if you will.
I saw a lot of people saying it felt like Kristen and Idina were saying goodbye to the role.
It very much felt that way. It was so beautiful. And, like, when they said at the beginning of the show that it was going to be Wicked songs, like, in a never before heard or seen way, I didn't really know what they meant. And then that happened. It's a beautiful way, I think, for Cynthia and Ariana and the cast, too, to, like, tie a bow on it. I really, really loved it.
That has been so much of the content that I've been consuming this week, has just been seeing that and then consuming clips of it and, like, getting to re-experience it and seeing a lot of the discourse in people's comments sections. I've been loving that.
And releasing the album for it so promptly.
And not making us wait for it, which I very much appreciate.
Major. Huge, actually.
The entire album went straight into my Broadway playlist.
Duh.
Also, them singing Happy Times Are Here Again.
You may as well have stabbed me in the chest, are you kidding?
Especially considering the history of Barbara and Judy doing that. That's a whole other deep dive in itself. I could do a whole podcast episode on just that moment in itself. But go do a deep dive on it. On the history of Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland doing that as a duet. That was, like, the least expected thing. And for them to end the show on that, I didn't expect it. And it was beautiful. And I loved it. I saw someone on TikTok say that they finally left the Kurt and Rachel restaurant. And I fear it's true. Because the Kurt and Rachel duet on Glee is fab. But this was just next level.
We've had a specific request to do a Glee episode. It is on the list of episode ideas, and if you have other suggestions, please send them our way. If there's something specific you want to hear us talk about, we're always open. We have our email, we have our DMs open.
Yeah, send us an email. I would love to get an email. Go send us an email.
sharewiththeclasspod@gmail.com.
But I think it's time
to share with the class.
It's time to share with the class. It's time for our weekly segment where we educate the viewers on something that we want them to know more about.
So I am going to start a 1-minute timer, and you are going to share with the class. Are you ready?
I think so. I'm excited for this one.
And your time starts now.
I want to educate the listeners on comment section etiquette. We learned it was the golden rule back in elementary school. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you have something negative to say in someone's comment section, don't write it, don't post it, don't click post on that red little TikTok button. Don't do it. It's not productive. It's not worth it. It's also not worth it to argue with people in comment sections or send people death threats like people have gotten, like Ariana Grande and other people get daily. Specifically this week with the Brazil premiere of Wicked, Ariana Grande getting death threats for not making the premiere. Why are we doing that? Not necessary. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Comment sections are to create community and discourse around topics, not to argue with people or tell people that they're stupid or be mean or anything of the sort. That's not what comment sections were made for, and I won't stand for hate in comment sections anymore.
Perfect timing.
It's something I'm really passionate about. Comment sections were not. Why are we turning them into war zones? It's not necessary, especially with, like...
It makes no sense.
It's not that deep. We all live on a floating rock. It's just a song. It's just an album. It's just a movie. Whatever you're trying to argue in the comment sections about. If you wouldn't say it to their face, don't write it in a comment section. Let's just be kind and have discourse. Like, we love having discourse.
But discourse and bullying are different things. At the end of the day, go touch grass.
Go outside. Going outside's awesome. Let me set my 1 minute timer. This is Katie Mays, Share with the Class. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, and your time starts now.
So, as somebody who has been chronically online for years, I love being chronically online. I love the internet. I think the internet is such a cool tool to connect people all around the world instantly. However, I have been on a current journey of reducing my screen time because I will find myself scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and my brain is like melting out of my eyeballs, like, and I can't take it anymore. And I don't know if I think it's a multitude of things. I think one, social media used to have an end. There used to be an end to your Instagram feed. You used to be done. Second, the takeover of AI content on social media, rotting our brains. Hello, I can't
15
take it.
seconds.
I can't take it anymore. So I've been on a journey of reducing my screen time. I don't think that means cutting out all screen time, but in reducing my screen time, have found myself actually enjoying my screen time again.
And just before 1 minute. Perfect timing. Honestly, that was a really good one. That was a really good one. I completely agree. It's been, especially in like my, as I'm starting to navigate the
Mhm.
beginnings of post grad, I have been finding myself trying to put the phone down and do things not on the phone. Even
I've
just
been
consume things not on social media, like listening to more podcasts, more audiobooks.
I saw one person call it conscious consumption, and I think that is a perfect description. When you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on social media, like you'll be on your For You page watching TikToks, and then 5 videos later, you forget what you just watched.
Oh, hi, Doug.
Yes, you. Get down. Thank you.
Get a load of that guy. I think that's the end of the road for this episode.
Yeah, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for going on this little journey with us. Go ahead and follow this podcast. Just stay tuned to see what else we have to talk about. If you have something you'd like to hear us discuss, or if you'd like to chime in on anything that we have talked about, you can reach out to us through our email, sharewiththeclasspod@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media at sharewiththeclasspod.
I think that's it. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, the next episode.
Yes. We'll see you in the
Okay.
next episode. Goodbye.